Superior attack!
Welcome back to Superior Tech. As always, I am Respecugnize. We're going to continue with our break from the typical way these videos are done, in which we just pick a character and look at it, give you what the buttons do when you press them, and how to play with the character and how to play against the character. Tuesday, I released a video on the basics of how to actually play the game, as far as how to actually win. You know, I would love for you guys to watch the video. I know everyone doesn't watch the videos, and I can look at the numbers and see, oh boy, do I look at the numbers. But I can look at the numbers and see that people sometimes lose interest in the videos. I understand that they may not be what people are looking for. You know, they may be just looking for videos in which I'm talking about stuff, but for the most part, they're trying to see people get shot in the head, right, and things like that. And because I've purposely made these videos not that way. You know, I'm not trying to particularly be entertaining. You know, I crack jokes and things like that in these, but I want serious looks at numbers and things like that. And I'm really making videos for people who want to make themselves better. And I think part of that is an ability to control yourself. Like, sit and look at this and study it. And I find those are the people that are going to do better in the game anyway. So, you know, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm making videos for pretty serious players or players who want to get better. And so if, you know, you're looking for entertainment or something like that, I hope to provide that. But for the most part, that's a simple explanation. So this is going to be another video. I've noticed that a lot of times in my videos I'm saying situational awareness or situationally important or situational. And so in keeping with the videos where I'm actually getting away from just those, and we'll probably only have one more week of this, and it may be a half week, but look, this video is going to be about situational awareness and what that means, and that ties into what is actually a good player in Overwatch. It is not a person who is able to hit 100% of their shots. I'll probably do another video on the numbers behind that, kind of backing that up. I heard another a coach explain exactly what that means and what is important in the game and why it's not about hitting every shot you take and things like that. You can't take a shot, or you can't hit a shot that you can't take. And so we're going to talk about situational awareness. To do that, we're just going to go in here and create a game real quick. Let's just put ourselves on attack. And all of how to do this, no, move over. How to do the why and all of this was explained in the other video. We're going to go ahead and on team 1, we're going to make all Autobots, and why that is the way to do it is explained in the other video. I'm not going to be too redundant here. Team 2, we'll give ourselves hard bots and then just do a recommended team. And then switch out the Lucio. It always gives a Lucio, right? Don't want an Ana on the team at all. Let's give it a McCree. May Roadhog out of there. Just give it a Reaper. Okay. So that is our teams. And we'll go here and put it on headshots only. Okay, now it is impossible once again for the other team to beat us. So what I want to do is talk about situational awareness, and we'll pick out a very good map for that if possible. Let's go Route 66. And we'll start this. So situational awareness is knowing things about the game. And by that, I mean for a good player, knowing everything about the game. And so we're talking about awareness of every situation, or at least as many situations as we can get to. I'll just pick soldier as normal. So I can't stress what I mean by everything. To be what I would consider a really good player in this game, and I don't care how high your SR is, I don't care how many times you play the game, I don't care about stars, what color the surround from your name is, and how many stars you have under and all that. That doesn't make you a good player. I'm going to tell you the truth. I can buy an SR ranking. I really can, and anyone can. There's plenty of services on the internet which will allow you to get carried. You can just pay. You can get carried by other. I never realized there was an AR behind here, but anyway, you can pay to get coached in things like that. But if you're going to be what I consider a good player, you have to know the game. What's better is it how many rounds will I probably hit when I fire this gun? This is a three round burst weapon. Notice how the 3 rounds go forward. After that, notice how they start straying off. That makes a good player. How many seconds without looking will it take to get this to come off cooldown? What's the composition of the team? Being able to hit tab and pull up other characters. Where are all the health packs? There's one in here. There's one up there. What's the best position to take per character to compete in this map? For instance, everyone pushes up here and tries to have infighting there, just like the Honors are doing there. Pointless. If you think about every game on Route 66 that you've ever played, every time, no matter how good your team is and probably how bad they were, they got to at least here, didn't they? All that matters here is holding this position, and why that is important. And I'm just giving Route 66 because it's a very prime example up front, but this goes for every map. You need to know where did the enemy team spawn from? How long is it going to take them to run back from this point? If they get to the next thing, does it change where they spawn? How far is it from them to run from there? There's a health pack in here. There's a health pack, let's run to it quickly. There's a health pack over here. That's what makes a good player in that situational awareness. If you want to be what I or anyone should consider a good player, those are the things that are important. Knowing if you're a Widowmaker, where you should be setting up. What's the probability of you getting hit there? What's the probability of you hitting? On average, at the about 5 meters per second run speed of the average character, how long, if they're just running through this gap, right here to right there, and you're a Widowmaker standing up there, how long do you have as far as a shot window to get them before they get here? Vice versa. That is situational awareness, knowing where the other enemy is going to be at any time, where they can be. I'll give you another prime example of situational awareness for characters. If you've ever looked at a tracer, the average tracer player that's good will blink twice, and they'll reserve the third blink to get out of danger and a rewind. A bad tracer player, or I should be honest, a new tracer player is probably gonna blink 3 times and not be very conservative. But the point is, when a tracer blinks, and I'll probably do a redux of this video so I can give practical examples, but when a tracer blinks, there's gonna be these horizontal lines that come out of them. A good player with situational awareness knows how far, if that tracer blinks, they're gonna end up here. That's about, for this distance, a tracer's gonna blink from there to about there. The average characters, if we look at them real quick, the tanks are significantly taller than the other characters except for Zarya, because she's on a normal frame. But if we look at Zarya and McCree, and they're not on the same level, but their heights are going to be about the same. Reaper, as we see, is a little taller than Mei. Mei is one of the shorter characters. But for the most part, if we look at Mei and Ana, they're about the same height. And then if we look at Mei, Ana, and Reaper standing next to each other, and we travel their arcs, it's going to go up, but they're about the same, right? So knowing how tall a character is, and as we get farther away, the character sprites shrink to simulate this being a 3D environment. As we get closer, they get taller. But for the most part, someone who's situationally aware can look at that. That's about 50 meters from here, and know that if a character is going to run from here to there, if they're not one of the larger tanks or Doomfist because he's huge, then to get the headshot, I can do what's called pre-aiming. I can be here. I know that their head's going to be about this high. Let's just test it. Okay, when I come around here, if those characters are down there, they're going to be about this high, right? It may not be perfect, but look at there. That head is about there. I only have to bump down a little bit. Her head's right there. And see, those are headshots. That is what is situational awareness, and that's what I'm talking about when I say you have to be situationally aware. So let's do this for instance. Let's look at this room real quick in the next 30 seconds and see those doors. If I'm backing out here, I know around here, about there to the left, is going to be a door, right? And so that door is there. And let's do it again just to prove I'm not peeking. So the door is to my left right now. Okay. And then if I want to get to the other door, it's about here, right? So I missed that one. But if I was walking backwards, I'd do this. Okay. So let's do it the other way. I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to walk through the other door. And then I'm going to walk through this door over here. That's situational awareness. Right now, everyone's complaining about Brigitte and how OP and things like that, and one of my responses, and it is smartass, and every time is, oh, you must, when Brigitte is in front of you, you must all of a sudden forget where the doors are and where the drop-offs are. So Brigitte has basically a 6-meter range of damage. Her shield bash, believe it or not, it's 6 meters in front of her. It's the same distance from her as her normal flail shot, which is her primary fire. Now her whip shot, where she shoots it out on left shift, is 20 meters range, and it pushes. So it's simply this: if Brigitte was here, and she's moving forward, and here's the thing, situationally aware, I'd know that her forward movement and my back movement are the exact same. For the most part, I've never tested it over, let's say, like 30 meters of running. So I guess I would say something like maybe moving backwards might be like 4.5 meters per second, and moving forward is 5 meters. But for the most part, a distance like this, if she's moving forward and I'm moving backwards, I will most likely get to this door that I'm not going to look at and walk through here. I'm situationally aware that she's coming forward, and that I have a door. So I'm not situationally aware. I mean, I'm not active apparently. There, now I'm active. So if she's moving towards me and I'm moving backwards, I'm situationally aware that there is an escape here. I know that Brigitte's, if she does a shield bash, she's going to do it, and I believe from memory it's a 6-second cooldown. So if she tries to close that gap, because it is a speed boost, she tries to close, and she goes here, but I'm there. She misses. I know there's 6 seconds before she can try that again. It's not going to take me 6 seconds to get here, and then I don't have to do this. Turn around and lose sight of her, where a hit scan character pops up behind me and starts shooting me in the back of the head. I know there's a door there. I'm going to just back out. I also know that once I drop off here, our engagement is pretty much over. And that's what that smartass comment about, oh, well, you must, when she's in front of you, you must automatically, she's OP because all of a sudden she changes the way the doors are, she changes the drop-offs, and she changes your ability to run backwards at the same speed as her, or her cooldowns change. This game, as far as the maps, they're finite. Just like right now, let's do this. Let's take a run through here. Okay? Now let's go through here. Now, the health packs, for the most part, in every one of these maps is intuitive, right? There, from what I remember, or what I would believe by my intuition, is there's a health pack in here, right? There it is. Where are the large health packs and where are the small health packs? There's going to be a health pack in there. There's probably a health pack in here. Okay, so there's actually no health pack in that one, but let's run through here. Let's go up here. There may be no health pack down there because there'll be one somewhere up in this area. And this is making me look silly, but there's actually no health pack in there. But so over here is the first enemy spawn. So they're coming out of there. Now where are they going to come from? Or this is where they're going to come from either way. So if we run through here, which is the door from point B, which is in front of this door. So if you're on the offensive and you have the first point A where it spawns, point B is here. They have to come through here to lock this and get more time. Then we're going to go into where point C is. So this is going to be where they have to get to get point C. Alright, so then the spawn changes, right? The defense spawn is going to change to back here. So when knowing where the cart is and what we've unlocked, a situationally aware character or a situationally aware player now knows that because we've gotten from point A to point B, the spawn is now here. When we get from B to C, then the spawn is now there. How long is it going to take for them to run back? If I kill them right now, what's going to happen? Should I maybe wait a little while before killing them? Just so that we can mess with their spawn. For instance, a situationally aware player knows that Symmetra's teleporter is always going to pop up with the teleporter being where it ends up is going to change slightly based upon things, but the teleporter is going to be in the enemy spawn. So if Symmetra has ult and she pops it, we know now that they have a spawn because we've seen Symmetra get a bunch of kills in the kill feed, which is the thing that pops up if you're looking at this, the upper right hand corner. It shows you who kills who. We know that almost every character gets 1% ult charge per second passive. For every time they hit, they get a boost to that, and kills are boosting their ult. So if we have a Symmetra who's running around and we look in the kill feed and we see that she's getting kills, we know that she has ult, right? So she's either going to give us she's going to give the enemy team either a teleporter or she's going to give them armor. If we're looking at the health over the characters' heads and we're situationally aware, we know how their health pool looks as far as their health bar. Let's go look at Anna's real quick and in our team. So we can see all their health, right? So Zarya there is a tank, which is why she has normal health just like everyone else, and then she has this blue health, which is her armor. Bastion, same thing. Because he's in turret form, he has armor from that. Anna doesn't have any. So let's shoot Anna here in the head, and now we can see her health. So we would be looking at the enemy's health. If they had a Symmetra and she threw down her shield generator, then this Anna is not going to have just pure health like they have right now. So if Symmetra, we notice that she's got kills, and then we notice that there's no armor on the enemy team, then that means that she's either holding the ult for some reason or there's a teleporter down. So we'll know that as soon as we make their spawn move, that teleporter is useless, right? So that's all about situational awareness and going into ults, knowing that whenever a enemy character on the other team, whenever we see Roadhog go into Whole Hog or we hear that dreaded nerf this, then we know that their diva has used self-destruct. So we know that if we hear nerf this and diva is running around now, then she's going to be getting back into her mech pretty soon. And the same thing, if we have baby Diva, which is what we call Diva when she's outside of her mech running around, because she's been demeched, which is what we call when she gets killed, when her mech gets shot to pieces and she's on her second life. We know if we see in the kill feed that baby Diva there starts getting kills, she's building up the ability to get back in her mech. So if we see her get a bunch of kills and she's not in her mech still, then we know that player is running around trying to use the superiority of being smaller and the speed of her gun and how dangerous it is up close with headshots. She's sitting there getting shots off, killing people, and then, as if she's really good, as she's about to die, she's basically going to get Q, which is, for Diva, if you haven't played her, when she's out of her mech, she can hit Q again to get back in her mech, as long as she's built up enough ult to get back in. This is when she's demexed. Now, when she uses Q to self-destruct while she's in the mech, then she has the ability, she just gets, it spawns her another mech. But that's all what's always talked about when I say situational awareness. It's knowing every aspect of what's going on. There's two ways to get situational awareness. There's three. You can watch other people play. That's a very good way, honestly, to passively get situational awareness. You're watching them play and you're watching what a better player than you does. You're watching pro teams and you're learning about meta and composition and things like that. That's a good way to do it. You can watch streamers also, which is a legitimate reason for why streaming exists and why it is so that you can learn without doing it yourself. As I like to say whenever I'm teaching, knowledge is cheaper than experience. So you can just take the time to sit back and passively do it. Another way to get the information is you watch things like Superior Tech, where I'm just going to take my time, or other players that have little features and things like that with coaching or teaching, that's going to tell you how to do things. You can just watch Superior Tech. That's the reason why I do it, is so that you guys can just sit there and learn. I'll tell you how to do it. So the third way is just like I did here. Notice we've been in overtime forever, and it's going to be, I mean, we can walk away from this. Will be in overtime tomorrow when I come back. You can simply spawn these Autobots and pick a map. And then right now, let's just walk through. Those health packs are there. Let's get up here. Let's spawn ourselves a Widowmaker. And let's start looking at some distances. We'll do that real quick. But you can walk through any map. But the thing is that all of this takes time. And most players, especially casuals, you don't want to take this time. You don't want to pay your dues. You don't want to put in the time. And, you know, there's also the ridicule of, well, you must play this game all day and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I do. I want to be good. So if it's cool for you or the average player who has that attitude to just play a game, basically, you know, wasting time, you know, just playing around in the game versus just taking a couple of hours to do things like this, that's fine, whatever. But if you want to be a good player, you are going to have to put in the time and energy. So here we are, we spawned a Widowmaker. And so we're up here. Now let's look at some distances. Let's look at getting some headshots. Let's look at twitching in to getting twitch hits and things like that. And I don't want to get too much into that because, you know, I will make that video on why studying or practicing how to do this does not necessarily make you a better player. Let me try to wrap this up by giving you a good example. I can have the ability to hit this headshot 100% of the time. Wow, 100% of the time without miss and without fail. That's great. Now, if I don't know how to get up there, let's say that was more difficult than just doing this. There's a 50-50 chance. If I need to be able to make this shot, I can only make that shot from here. If I'm not here, I can't make the shot. So there's your 50-50 chance right there. So of the 50% of the time that I can get here, how long or how often do I know that their enemy character is going to be right here? So I could pre-aim, and let's say they're going to run through there. How long and how often are they going to run through there for me to just have a reaction and have my reaction time to just headshot? So that's maybe 25% of that 50. So now we're down to a net 25%. And then of that, how good am I at hitting that headshot? Let's say I hit 50% of those shots. So now we're at about 12.5%, of getting those shots. So even if I'm good, 50% accuracy, scoped accuracy is pretty good. I'm still only at about 12.5% kill efficiency, versus if I'm on another character who's down here, let's say I am that soldier and I'm down here, and so now I know that I have pretty much 100% chance to get in here. So then I have an easier weapon to hit with, and so I can shoot down here. And so now I'm still in like the 80 or 90%. I know if I'm standing in this area and they're going to be coming through here and here, because effectively when I'm the Widowmaker and I'm up here, this blocks my line of sight. I can't get any shots there. So I've only got this little window, whereas if I'm the soldier and I'm down here, I'm at 100% effectiveness in this area, and then I have all of this area and this area in this area. So I now have 75% of that 100% where I can shoot, because about 25% of this blocks my ineffectiveness. And from there, because I have a hit scan weapon, and I know that 3-round burst is more efficient than just spamming it 100% and having what they call blossom from the weapon, where the bullets are shooting around everywhere. If I know that I have 3-round burst, and I'm a good shooter, I practice just the basics of shooting, even if I'm not good, I now have somewhere, let's say I miss half of those shots. Well, I'm still up in the 30-40% effectiveness, even though I'm not that great of a shot. I'm not as good as that Widowmaker guy up there. He hits half his shots or more, 75% of his shots. But because I'm situationally aware, because I know where to be when, I know how to shoot and how not to shoot, I'm instantly more effective than a player who's better than me at shooting. So everyone wants to go into using Anabots and these websites with, these flash and these flash programs that are set in where little dots are spawning and I'm shooting them, and I'm getting better at hitting. I'm not saying don't do that. That is a good idea. The reason why pro players do it is because everything that I'm talking about, like going through these maps, they played hundreds and hundreds of hours on these maps because they don't change, and they already know. They can literally run through this, what they call blindfolded, and they know exactly where the health packs are. They have the ability, their eyes are moving constantly. Like right now, whenever I'm playing, my eyes would be going between that kill feed in the upper right hand corner, my health in the bottom left hand corner. I know based upon who's shooting me and how many hits and the little tick marks that I see around my reticle, I know about how much health I should be missing. I know my run speed, and I know because of where I've been standing, like here, health pack there, health pack there. I know this is above me. I'm keeping track of their 6 players. I know the probability of having a player there. I know based upon whether I'm playing in a basic arcade game, and based on how their characters were moving, about how good they are, I've used this tab to see what their composition is. Based on their composition, I've made a guess at how well they play. If I start seeing bars in between players, I know those are the ones that have the best communication. I know, looking at all of that information, where they're probably going to come from. Are they going to be flanking? what character. It's probably going to be a hit scan character that comes down up from here. It's probably going to be a tank or a melee character that comes from there. And then based upon what my team is, I know the probability of them attempting the flank. And because of all of that, that first statement I said where they're probably going to get, no matter how good we are and relatively how bad they are, they're probably going to get that escort point to at least here. I know from watching pros and playing so many games that strategically, also from listening to Sun Tzu or reading his book, I know strategically that based upon the rate of movement of this cart, coming around this corner, watch, if we're looking line of sight from here, looking here, from any of the angles that are possible, this cart moving along here, line of sight gets established because the cart is going to run this middle line. The cart line of sight starts here, right? We've got line of sight from our area that we're going to protect all the way. When it's in the apex of this curve, it's effectively slower here because it's still moving towards, but it's wide. The fastest way to get between 2 points is a straight line. So the fastest way to get from there to there would be to go through this mountain, but since this is a physical object, it can't. So here, it's at its most prone to getting shot because it's moving here. It's the same thing we see in the President Kennedy assassination video, which unfortunately is what I was thinking about this whole time. They have to be around this cart to make it move. So they have to be around this object, which is dictating how fast they can move. Once they get here, they're their most vulnerable. So standing here where that cart's going to be moving in a straight line and they can line of sight us by being behind here, they can all just stack here. And then we would have to go to them. You know, we have to get up here. And so if I'm standing here looking up, if they're coming over, what's the first thing that pops up over the horizon of this object? It's my head. My head is what's going to give them the damage boost, the crit, right? So if I'm aiming here and I know their head's going to pop up, I just do this. I walk up and I'm getting headshots that whole time, as long as my rate of raising is the same rate that they're walking. And so it's more effective just to let them get the thing up here, right? Because then we're here holding this position, which has the large health pack here and another health pack right there. We have that ability to just keep shooting them here, and we can have flankers who are over here and they're shooting. And because of that, you know, whenever I'm in PUC games, I'm like, well guys, always remember, hold this. And when I play with my team, most of them know, and I'm just being redundant, but the same thing, I say, well guys, remember, all we have to do is hold this. So there's strategic placement points on every map, and that in a nutshell is strategic awareness. So I'm going to make another one of these videos that give more practical examples, giving actual things like showing those streaks from the tracer, so that we know and are aware that when we see the streak, that's the direction in which the tracer is going to blink, and so we just snap over and wait to see if they're going to blink twice, which is average, or they're going to blink 3 times, or if they only have 1 blink left. The same thing with Sombra. When she translocates, she streaks in that direction. So you know, on Sombra would know where's the blind corner that Sombra is going to come from, because she has a low health pool, and she's basically, if you're familiar with TF2, she's basically the spy, right? She's the character that can turn invisible and move around and tries to get behind you and do sneaky things. So that is situational awareness, and I'll make that other video. But that's what I'm talking about, and hopefully this video inspires people to take the time on their own, not their time in the game using other people's times to effectively become a better character. You have to pay your dues to get better. You have to put in energy and time. I know that's not very popular apparently with millennials. Try hard is is just not a thing, right? That's something that's mocked. But if you want to be a better player, you're going to have to put it in. So that's the end of my rant. We'll probably do at least half of next week to situational awareness in these rants on how to make you better players before we go back to just highlighting the rest of the hero cast. So have fun, guys. If there's anything you think I need to add or anything I missed or made a mistake, then I was about to say don't tell me because I'm not wrong. But no, seriously, if I'm wrong, let me know and I'll make another video. Thanks and have fun.
Respecugnize game when I get on